happy to be on the podcast in this series with the amazing Julia Carlson. These episodes are going to be packed with so much value, hopefully so many perspective shifts and openings for you. I'm so excited that you are listening because our intention for this series is to help you step into the identity of someone who could become a millionaire. We want to plant that seed of possibility. So what's super fun is that Julia and I have a mastermind coming up. This is an offer that we put together. It feels so soul aligned for both of us. And I want to talk about how that came together a little bit first. And then in this episode, I thought we could talk about our millionaire stories and our journey to becoming a millionaire. And what we want to do is we want to just be really real, authentic, vulnerable, and share the true behind the scenes with you of the journey to becoming that. So first I want to talk a little bit about how the mastermind came together, and then we're going to talk about our journeys. So this is so wild. So Julia and I met at a retreat. We were in a mastermind together, the How to Be Famous mastermind with Whitney Euland. And we were both excited to just create more impact in the world. And so we were doing that work together. We met at a retreat in Cabo through the mastermind, both obviously obsessed with the work of money, the inner work, the strategy. We vibed on it. And the mastermind ended. Months went by. We kind of connected through Instagram. And I just kept having this vision that kept coming up and it wouldn't stop bothering me. That was like, Jamie, do a mastermind with Julia.
Yes.
And I know. And at first I was like, oh, I don't know. She's so busy. She has an 8-figure company. She's got a book launch. I don't know. Our brain does that. But that vision wouldn't stop. Like it just not only working with you and collaborating with you was the vision, but also what we could bring to the world and what we could bring to women. So anyways, it was amazing. And I'm curious for you, when you first heard about the idea, what was your thought?
I was like, oh my goodness, yes, because I feel like the teachings, the energy, what you bring is so different than my gifts. And I see so many women get hung up on the energetics of money and the money story. And like even thinking about 7 figures and 8 figures and how do we normalize that? And I feel like sometimes I don't have the right tools in my toolkit to help them always. And that's exactly where the perspective you come in and bring that energy and that alignment and that leveling up. And yes, it was funny because I'm such a quick start. I was like, yes, I want to do
I love it. I was like, yay. My whole team was like, yay. We were all so excited when you said yes, because vice versa, right? You bring so much amazing experience, years of experience of creating wealth, multiplying wealth, you know, how to actually scale a business, not only to 7 figures, but up to 8 figures. And you've helped so many businesses do that. So you know how to get in there and lock in some of the strategy, whereas my specialty is the energetics. So I'm so excited for the magic that we're going to create together. It's going to be so much fun.
I love
it. Okay. So I thought it'd be just fun to talk about our stories because I don't know. I mean, I know what you do and everything, but I've never heard your millionaire story. And I want to hear a little bit more about, you know, what got you going, you know, just in the work that you do in the world, what called you towards it, not only in helping people, but also maybe on a personal level. Like, did you always know you wanted to become a millionaire? Did you always know you wanted to have wealth? Or was it something that I'm just curious?
Yeah. You know, when I look back in my childhood, I was very entrepreneurial spirited. Like I remember having a babysitting club and we would, between me and my friends, we would babysit. And I like the concept of making money was super fun to me.
Yes.
We had like,
I had a babysitting business too. That's hilarious. I didn't like kids, but I liked money.
Totally. Yes. We had like lemonade stands. We mowed lawns. I remember we flew a lot. My dad was a pilot and we would go.
My dad was a pilot too.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So maybe you have this memory. We were at Minneapolis MSP for a layover and we'd fly standby. So it was like long waits. my brother and I would go out and we would go collect the carts, the luggage carts, and return them because we'd make 25 cents for every cart we would
Oh my
return.
gosh.
And we like tore it up.
Genius. Genius. That's awesome. So you had that entrepreneurial spirit from a young age, obviously.
At a young age. And then,
Yeah.
I remember in high school, I took a business class and our teacher, he was great. And he actually taught us about stocks. We did like a mock portfolio. And I remember being super interested in that. And I brought that information home. And my dad, both my mom and dad, like were savvy enough to be able to understand stocks and had a healthy money story. It's not, we were wealthy, but it was like they understood it. And probably because my grandfather invested in stocks and he was a teacher, but just was like understood enough to like start investing, and little by little they built wealth. And so that was passed on to me. And so when I started my first job at McDonald's, like my first paycheck job, my dad set me down and said, "Hey, you have to start investing." And I started my very first mutual fund. And
Oh my
I have to
gosh.
say, I've probably invested every month since then. It's like it just instilled this
Wow.
habit in me. So,
Wow, that
yes.
consistency. That's amazing. And what was it that made you want to? Because I know you have a huge passion and heart for helping women do it and female
Yeah.
entrepreneurs. And I know your perspective is unique from a lot of the very masculine, super structured, very much no debt and budget and restrict. And I know you have like your own unique perspective of that. How was that developed? And I'm just curious, where does that passion come from for helping women do it?
Yeah, so after I graduated high school, I actually met my husband that summer, and so I was 18, and then we actually got married at 19, and I moved to a very small town on the Oregon coast
Yeah.
and started working for a bank. And in the bank, they had an investment department, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I want to learn how to do that." So I worked at the bank for 4 years, and during our first 4 years of marriage, it was really tough. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to get married at 19 and navigate all of that
I
as
can
I'm trying to grow
imagine.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we
totally.
just and at the time, my husband was older than me, more established in his career, and so, I hugely depended on him for money, frankly. And
Yeah.
so, I think at a time where I was trying to figure out my personal life, there was an opportunity to excel in investments and personal finance, and I just really leaned into that and gravitated towards that because frankly, I wanted to be financially independent. I wanted that sense of I could make my own money and
Yeah.
make a life for myself if a relationship ended, which thankfully it didn't. We're going to
Yeah.
celebrate 29 years this
Oh my
weekend.
God. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Incredible.
but that desire to feel like
Yeah.
that I couldn't make decisions because I wasn't financially set. I'll never forget that, and that translated into wanting that for others. And
Yeah.
so that's where like I have this teaching spirit in me because I want other women to be financially free and financially independent. And I've done that over my career and helped many others do that, and I just have a huge passion for doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. That is so beautiful. And as you did that work and really decided that you wanted to become financially independent and decided to dive in and learn that skill, did you see ways in which that improved your relationship, shifted your relationship? Like, did
Yeah, I
things
mean, it was interesting because when I got married, my husband's sister was doing his money. So he was
okay.
so it
It
was
wasn't him.
it wasn't him.
Yep.
And so I
Yeah.
started managing our money. But
Mhm.
again, it was even though I could see the money, I saw it where it was I was managing his money. So weird, right? Because we're married at
Yeah.
this point. And I think over time, we navigated that marriage. We went to counseling. We worked through it all. And then, as soon as we could come together and set financial goals together, and I'm like contributing significantly to to the family, wealth or the family money, if you will. But it was like we really got on the same page and we started tracking our money together and setting
Yeah.
goals and, whether we bought real estate or other investments. So it was interesting. I bet I could go back. We started tracking our money. I think it was around 2005.
Mm.
And I bet I could tell you the year that maybe I'll come back in the next episode to tell you the
Yep.
year that we became millionaires. And then now into 8-figure net worth, it
Yep.
just compounds. And
Yeah.
what you pay attention to magnify, and it's like you put your energy there and your attention, and it's only going to grow. And I think that's probably going to be a huge piece of what our work together that we do in this mastermind is helping set up the infrastructure of how do you go to a millionaire status?
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. 100%. What do you wish people knew now that you've gone on that journey and become financially independent and financially free? And you see this not as you've stepped into wealth as a way of connection and building strength and goals together as a relationship, right? What do you wish other people knew who are maybe struggling with that?
Yeah, I think money is sometimes taboo, like to talk about it. And sometimes it's like they don't have the tools or the resources to the facilitation piece of it to talk about it.
Totally.
And I think it's like super, like we have to normalize talking about money.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I'll ask people like, hey, what do you earn? And I think
Yeah.
it's no big deal because this is my world. They're like, they kind of look at me like, that's a deep question. Why are you
I
asking me
know.
that?
I'm the same way. It's so normalized for me. And in the work that I do, I talk about it all. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this is what I'm paying in this and the rent. And that people are just like, you're just sharing all that. I'm like, oh, it's just normal. Like, I just talk about
Yes.
money. It's not weird, you know?
Yeah.
It's an everyday topic. I love it.
Yep. And
Yeah.
as you grow, especially in business, it's like you have to normalize these bigger amounts
Yeah.
as you grow your business, as you grow your income. And the more you pay attention to it and the more it's not like an angst energy in your body. It's like an
Yeah.
excitement. It's like
Yeah.
oh, this is what I get to do. Like every quarter, we still track every quarter our net worth statement. And it's
Yeah.
super fun. It's like, oh, like what progress did we make? Or what goal do we want to
Yeah.
set now? And so it's really, it's a connection builder. Like you said, I love
Yeah.
that.
And I'm so excited for you to bring that process to the mastermind. I know you're going to share your process for setting those 90-day goals. And I'm so excited not only to have everyone who's coming in learn it, but I'm excited to learn your process myself. It's going to be amazing. So yeah. It's amazing. It's fascinating because my story, it's funny how many things we have in common too. Like we started a babysitter business. We both started working really young, loved making money. My dad was a pilot too.
That's wild.
That's wild. But
Yeah.
my story is actually like almost the opposite in terms of my, I guess we'll call it millionaire story or my story of stepping into wealth, because I grew up seeing, so first of all, I didn't learn anything about money other than avoiding it, like being a credit card debt, it was always a topic of kind of just stress, and a lot of avoidance. And that's what I saw growing up. And of course, like my parents were never taught either. So that's why, we didn't learn it. And so I didn't know anything about how to take care of money. I don't know anything about investing or any of that. But what I did see was growing up, and I've shared this story before, but what I saw was like, back in the day, my mom did not quite believe in herself and her ability to make money. So she always thought, well, I have to have a man to do it or have to be married. And unfortunately, that caused some like toxic relationships. And so I saw so much turmoil because of that. And the story was always, well, we have to put up with this, otherwise we're going to be homeless. Well, we have to put up with this as a family, otherwise we're going to be on the streets, right? And so like that was the story that was ingrained in me. And sometimes, right, as kids, we take these things on as, oh, I guess this is how I'm going to be. But other times we take it on and we create this agreement with ourselves of that's never how I'm going to be.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I remember being like, that's never going to be me. I'm going to be an independent woman. I'm never going to rely on a man. I'm going to be a millionaire, right? But it was like this harsh, like, absolutely not, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the problem was I didn't know how to make money because that was never mirrored. I didn't know, how to believe in myself because that also wasn't mirrored. So
Mhm.
growing up, I thought I just had to work really hard. So of course I had the babysitter business. I worked at a produce stand. I had all these jobs all the time and all through my 20s, even whenever I started my first makeup business, I worked around the clock. I remember when I first met my husband when I was 24 years old, had just moved out to LA. I was about 1 year into LA. And I told him, I'm so sorry. I can go on dates with you around 10 p.m., sometimes midnight, because I work 3 jobs. He
Oh
was
my.
like down. Luckily, he was a music producer and they work really late. Those were like his hours. So he's like, oh yeah, I stay up that. It's cool. Like, let's go on dates in the middle of the night. So, I
Wow.
worked a ton. I worked my butt off. And I always thought, well, if I just work more, if I work harder, but of course that is so exhausting and it's not true. Like I was still always just getting by and always stuck. If my car broke down, I was like, okay, well, guess I'm eating, Greek yogurt for the next every single meal, and it was very stressful. But I had moved out to LA where I saw a lot of wealth and I saw a lot of like, it was a shift, it was a difference. And I was really curious, how do people do this?
Yeah.
And as me and my husband's relationship grew, he also was a beautiful mirror because he had a great relationship with abundance and with money.
Mm.
And I wanted to shift careers and become a coach, and he wanted to support me in that. But I had the no way, I'm not going to be helped. Yeah, I'm, an independent woman. I'm paying half of everything, But the problem was it was so harsh. My opportunity was actually in a safe environment where I felt very safe with my husband to learn how to receive first. That was like step
Mm.
one, was to learn like, Jamie, you don't have to do it all alone. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to prove that you can be the one making $1 million on your own. So I really had to open up to this idea of like, it's safe to receive. It's safe
Mm.
to receive help. He can support me on this journey of becoming an entrepreneur. And that opened up so much for me, actually. It was wild because when I started opening up to like, okay, maybe I can attract money with ease. Maybe it's safe to let money in with ease. Maybe I don't have to prove it.
Yeah.
It was wild because as I allowed him to kind of come in and support me partially, I also like that's when like my business started growing more and I had this space to do the inner work around money and I could actually put the time in to start creating my business. And I did a lot of inner work on money and I did start making more, a lot more money after that. But yeah, it was so fascinating how like it was such, I had a receiving block for sure. And luckily that was an opportunity to kind of unlock it. And since then, it's been kind of a co-creation. So it's been really fun and similar to you and your husband. I see it as like a partnership. We love to like, look at our net worth and the different channels we can create wealth. And I see my
Mhm.
business as one channel. I see real estate as one channel. I see investing as one channel. And I've kind of opened up to receiving. It's like, I don't have to prove it from one channel or the other. Like gets to be fun and I get to multiply money in so many different ways and add value to the world in the ways that I want to. So that was, yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, I love that. That's such a, I mean, so much self-awareness in that, which is amazing. And I feel like the connection, it was interesting because when I started, I left the bank actually at 23 and started my own wealth management business.
Yeah.
And for probably a good 10 years, I was in that prove it. Like,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to be successful. Like, watch me prove it attitude.
Yeah.
And I had to shift too into that receiving. So that it
Uh,
like came later and
yep.
realizing at the end of myself, at the end of exhaustion, where I was the bottleneck in my business, it was like I just had to surrender and receive, like bring other
Yeah.
people along in the journey to help and knowing that that was okay. But gosh, it's such a hard pivot in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it takes a little, like not a little bit of both, but it's like it takes kind of knowing where you need when, right? Because sometimes it is a little bit more of that push, or not push, but a little bit more of that, like, that fiery energy to go. And then
Yeah.
other times it is about stepping back and receiving. And we kind of, that's like the work that we talk about all the time is we need both the masculine and the feminine, and just to know when it's necessary for what.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, totally. I love it. So good. This is the Becoming a Millionaire series. And so let's talk about, we've shared our stories. Let's talk a little bit about what it is we hope for you that is listening and those that are going to be coming into the Becoming a Millionaire mastermind. What would you say your hope is for them?
I feel like to me, I love to activate people. I love for them to see potential and see maybe something that they weren't able to see from their vantage point. But I think coming in and looking at the holistic view of their life, of their business. And it's oftentimes just like a teeny tipping point, a teeny tweak that can really unveil this whole new level in entrepreneurs. And so that's what I'm excited about to really activate and inspire them, because what I've learned is people out there love to complicate becoming a millionaire.
Mm-hmm,
And thinking that there's all these other responsibilities, and you have to be sophisticated and savvy, and you don't. Like, everybody can become a millionaire. You just got to focus and make it happen. So I'm excited to talk about that.
I couldn't agree more. What I'm excited about is showing people that they can do it while being in full alignment with their soul values. And really, it's like you said, it's not about necessarily doing more or adding more, but sometimes it's just about tuning in and starting to trust yourself, starting to trust yourself with money, starting to trust your intuition, starting to listen to your soul calling and see that you can actually make the kind of wealth that you want while living in alignment with the lifestyle that you want, right? It doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice something that's very important to you. You really can do this while living in alignment with your soul purpose and with your values. And I'm actually excited for people to see, I have this vision of they're going to be like, I didn't realize it was going to be this. What? Like, how is this happening? Why is this all I didn't think it would be, I don't want to say this easy, of course, because it's a becoming journey, but I think it's easier than people make it out to be.
I think so too.
And especially when you have support.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, the ripple effect of what that's also, as they step into that, what that's going to do for generations to come in terms of them reprogramming their relationship with money and learning these skills that they're going to be able to teach to their loved ones and kids if they have kids, or, passing it on. It's huge. It's not just about the 6 months. It's going to be far beyond that, stuff that they can take into their entire lives.
Absolutely.
So I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, we are going to do part 2 next week, and we are going to debunk some millionaire myths that both of us have seen many times within people, probably myths that we carried ourselves at one point, but we're going to be debunking them. So make sure to tune in next week for part 2.